For a very long time, I used to noodle on my saxophone. I remember one time when I was in college, I was in the practice room practicing. I thought I was practicing, but that was... Hello Saxo friends, Kadrian here, the Sax Habit Coach, bringing you the best practice tips, tools, and ideas to help you as a beginner saxophone player develop the practice habits and routines to master your saxophone faster. Now, my purpose is to serve, motivate, and to inspire you. So, one of the big challenges that every beginner face is that of not knowing what to practice. And so you go into the practice room, whether it's for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, even an hour, and what do? You noodle, right? You noodle on your saxophone. You just play a bunch of random notes on your saxophone. However, noodling on your saxophone will not help you to improve because you're just playing random notes. So what do you do to stop the noodling? Well, you need to focus. But what can you focus on? Well, you need to practice. But what can you practice? Well, you need to know how to practice. So to begin with, if you want to know what to practice or how to practice, then it would be good if you find yourself a mentor or find yourself into a saxophone community that has a program that you can follow. And then once you have that, then you can make structure. And you begin by planning. You plan your practice. You pre-plan your practice. And having a mentor will eliminate a lot of the frustration, because what a mentor will do for you actually is to customize the lessons specifically to meet your needs. You ever notice that when you go to school, the teacher tries his or her very best to facilitate everyone that's in the class, but the teacher most of the times does not own that school, and so they cannot teach how they would really want to teach at times, or to teach in a way that everyone would get the information how he or she really learns. And it would take a long time because it's too many people, right? When you have a mentor, on the other hand, the mentor can plan for you and give you a structure to follow. So find yourself a mentor or find yourself a community that has some sort of structure, and then plan your practice, and then show up and then you practice. But what do you practice? Well, as a beginner, you want to start by learning your scales, and it cannot be said too many times that you need to learn your scales. Think about it. Your scales are like the alphabet in the English language. After you've learned all the letters in the English alphabet, then you are going to make words. Words make phrases and sentences and paragraphs and chapters. So if you eliminate the alphabet or the letters in the alphabet, then you won't have words. You won't have phrases. You won't have sentences. And you won't have paragraphs either. Now, can you speak without knowing the alphabet? Of course, because you can listen, and that would be like learning to play by ear. But if you plan to write, or if you plan to communicate at a higher level, then of course you would want to learn. When you learn your scales and know, you will be able to do the improvising that you want to do. Because just like the English language, you take O and you put it before N, you get on. You take the same O, you put it after N, you get no. You add T to NO and you get not, and so on. So it is the scales or the notes in these different scales that will make everything that you will play, all the chords there are to play in music. So instead of noodling, it's best to take a single scale in your practice time for however long you have, and you practice that scale until you get it. Or take an arpeggio, or take a triad, or you take a chord and you practice that, because that in and of itself is building a part of your technique, and you are reinforcing the ideas that you are going to use later to play whatever song or to improvise with. So as a beginner, you want to stop noodling. For a very long time, I used to noodle on my saxophone. I remember one time when I was in college, I was in the practice room practicing. I thought I was practicing, but that was practicing. That's not even practice, right? And so I remembered a music teacher said, "What were you doing?" And I said, "I was practicing." The music teacher was saying, "No, that's not practice. You were just running up and down on the saxophone because that's all I was doing. I could do a particular run on the saxophone. Now, I couldn't isolate all the notes in that run because it wasn't a run that I learned with the notes on sheet music or stuff. I just learned the run by just running up and down on the saxophone. So there was no structure to it. It's not like I was playing a chord or a chordal run or something like that. And so you don't want to waste your time doing that because time you cannot get back. You cannot get it back. So it's more worthwhile when you are practicing that you take a chord or a scale and just practice that within the time frame that you have, and that will serve you way better than you sitting down and noodling on your saxophone. And of course, you can find a lot of YouTube videos to show you how to play chords, how to play scales, how to play runs and licks. But if you really want to experience true growth, I'd suggest that you find yourself a mentor so that you can move the needle. Since I started taking mentorship some time ago, I can tell you within about 3 months, the amount of ground that I was able to cover is way more than I was able to cover by myself over a 2-year period, because the mentor knows exactly what I needed. I told him where I was, then he gave me something to figure out where I was, and then I started getting my weekly assignments and what I should practice, and it's like multiplication that took place. It's not addition, but multiplication. So saxo friend, stop noodling and start practicing. And as always, push play until something happens. Peace.